watching UnrealEntGaming. This is Beerus, the God of Destruction. Make sure you subscribe to UnrealEntGaming and push the like button for me, or else I'll Hakai you from existence. Oh, and to make sure to watch the entire video all the way through, and to follow UnrealEntGaming on both Instagram and Twitter. Whiz, enough. On to the video.
With Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 95 now officially in the history books, the intense battle involving Piccolo, Gohan, Gamma 1, and Gamma 2 is just about to take place as it continues through the form of having Ultimate Gohan battle Gamma 1, as we now slowly but surely begin to near the end of the story, as Cell Max is just about to be revealed in a matter of a few chapters. The million-dollar question now going forward is how big of a difference is this battle involving Piccolo and Gohan versus the Gammas going to be by comparison to that of the film, and are we bound to at some point receive additional information in finally finding out how strong these characters are by comparison to that of Goku, Vegeta, and Broly. As a quick reminder before we go deeper into this video, if you just so happen to be new to the channel and have a love and passion for all things Dragon Ball and anime related, then I do encourage you guys to go on over and smash that subscribe button and turn on all notifications by clicking on the bell icon to never miss a single video posted on the channel, as well as giving this video a big fat thumbs up by slapping that like button down below if you simply enjoyed the content being shown within the Dragon Ball Super manga and are excited to see what the overall direction of Dragon Ball Super is going to be going forward. And if you would like to learn more and catch up on the previous Dragon Ball Super manga chapters, then be sure to go ahead and click down below in the description box in checking out the official Dragon Ball Super manga playlist, to where not only would you be able to catch up on all of the previous manga chapters that you guys may have missed, but you could also check out some of the previous moments that have unfolded and which had brought us to this very moment in time. So with that being said, I want to thank you all so much for your time, thank you all so much for your support, and now let's dive straight into the video. We kick off Dragon Ball Super manga chapter number 95 with an overhead shot of the Red Ribbon base being overseen by Krillin and the rest of his police squadron, as they had now tracked down the Red Ribbon location, as it was only while inside with Krillin being shown having to do his best in tracking this location down was when Krillin then went on to respond, "Huh? What the what? What is it?" Krillin's superior then went on to ask. "It's from the camera monitor nearing the lake." What is that?" Krillin's commanding officer then went on to respond, to which a little later on, as we then venture on over and seeing Android 18 and Krillin take their daughter to go see Clean God 2, it was only just when Krillin's family was now shown having to exit the theater where his daughter then went on to shout, "Oh, that movie was amazing too!" Ugh, will these movies ever get less stupid? 18 went on to respond, to where it was only just upon with the family now noticing that the rain around the area had now just stopped was when Krillin then went on to respond, "Wait, could that be Gohan? But why? Who would he be fighting?" In which seconds later, the moment Krillin's watch had began to go off with his commanding officer on the other line, that was when his commanding officer then went on to respond, "My apologies, as I know you're off duty, but we have a situation here. We finally located the Red Ribbon Army's secret base." "Really?" Krillin then went on to respond, "Yes, it's in the lake as we suspected, camouflaged via hologram." "The lake?" Krillin then went on to respond. "Okay, so then that's where I'm sensing Gohan's energy coming from." "Sergeant Nuts," Krillin then went on to respond, and yes, that is her name. "I've got a nasty feeling about all of this, so let me scout it out alone to start with, okay? So in the meantime, I recommend that you evacuate civilians from that area just in case." "Will do," Nuts responds, with 18 then having to ask, Krillin, are you going somewhere? What about your restaurant plans?" With Krillin responding, sorry, a sudden work thing, you know." "I see. And who was that woman?" 18 asks. "Oh, what, her? That's Sergeant Nuts is my boss." Sure she is. I'm tagging along." Okay," Krillin responds. Sure thing. You also might actually come in handy too." In which all a while in the meantime, time when then going back to Ultimate Gohan, Piccolo, Gamma 1, and Gamma 2, we only from that point then see how Ultimate Gohan had immediately gone on the offensive by attacking Gamma 1, with Gamma 1 being absolutely surprised at the sheer increase of strength that Gohan had now gained in knocking Gamma 1 down completely, as it was only with one punch as Gamma 1 went down, as he quickly from that point then noticed how Gohan was trying to rescue Pan. As soon as Gohan was then shown on the move, instead of having Gamma 2 be the one to stop him, it was only now Gamma 1 who instead had quickly gotten up and getting in Gohan's way, rather than seeing what had transpired within the movie and having Gamma 2 be the one to interrupt Gohan before Piccolo got in the way. As soon as Gamma 1 further addressed Gohan in reminding him that he will not be getting away but instead be resuming the fight with him, that was exactly what was shown taking place, with Pan and Piccolo having to look on, because it was only as Piccolo had now gone as far as to put Pan down in looking to get into the fight himself, where it had now become fairly evident that Gohan was in fact taking the lead and was in full control of this battle, as Magenta, Dr. Hedo, and Gamma 2 along with Carmine were looking on, because as soon as Gohan was now beginning to turn the tides on Gamma 1 by putting the beats on him and knocking Gamma 1 back down again, it now seemingly looked as though Gamma 1 was beginning to get desperate, because Gamma 1 from that point then gone as far as to draw his gun forward, and from there being shown firing several shots directly at Gohan, as Gohan had now gone as far as to completely deflect them, in which these very same blasts itself had now gone as far as to, courtesy of Gohan, destroy almost the entirety of the surrounding area that was of the Red Ribbon HQ, with Magenta of course making note of this and not wanting to see his entire base go down. It was only as an angry Gohan had then gone as far as to address Gamma 1, where Gohan from there went on to shout, "Yeah, says the guy whose team kidnapped a child, you're the evil ones here," with Gamma 1 responding, "Never." "Oh, remain calm, Gamma," Dr. Hedo responds. Go join in, number 2. "Yes, sir," Gamma 2 responds. In which even then, despite all of this, with Dr. Hedo now sicking out Gamma 2 and attacking Gohan along with Gamma 1 and ganging up on him, before Gamma 2 could even insert himself in this battle against Gohan, was when from out of nowhere, that was when Gamma 2 was being shown getting struck in the back of the head by a pistol, only for Gamma 2 to now be shown having to turn around and looking up in the air and noticing how this had now come from none other than Piccolo, in which, similar to that of the film, with Piccolo now being shown getting ready and preparing himself to have his rematch with Gamma 2, in which even despite seeing the fact that Piccolo was now beginning to power up and visibly being stronger than he was before, Gamma 2 was by no means shown backing down from this challenge either, as even Piccolo was shown having to power up even more, as even despite with the others not currently knowing as to what Piccolo was fully capable of following his initial wish to the Eternal Dragon Shenron, it was only just within that very moment, as Piccolo was now having to be shown revealing his ultimate power, was when Gohan went on to chime in, "Huh? Piccolo's here? Oh, you really did survive," Gamma 2 responds. "Right, here to get whooped by me again? Try learning your lesson," with Piccolo responding, "I'm a smidge different than before, Gamma 2. "Oh yeah? Well, you're not getting away again," Gamma 2 responds. In which seconds after the moment, Gamma 2 was now shown having to engage by charging directly at Piccolo. The overall difference now between what Piccolo was when he first fought Gamma 2 and what Piccolo is now while fighting Gamma 2 was fairly evident, because not only was Piccolo shown having to be agile and well aware enough in avoiding Gamma 2's attack, but Piccolo also from that point had now gone as far as to grab onto Gamma 2's hand and kneeing him directly in the stomach, and also quickly following up by from that point being shown punching Gamma 2 in the face, and from there also being shown having to drag Gamma 2 across the sky by his face, and further resulting in Gamma 2 being shown crashing on down and further destroying the remnants of what is of the Red Ribbon HQ, as even with despite Gohan being shown clinging on to Gamma 1 and not letting him go, that was when Gohan had now gone as far as to address Piccolo by then responding, "Oh, why are you here, Piccolo?" "Oh, that can wait. Focus on the battle," Piccolo shouts. Will do." "Oh, a power-up, eh?" Gamma 2 asks. "That fast? Or were you hiding this from before?" with Piccolo responding, "I bet you're dying to know." "Well, ever the talker," Gamma 2 responds, "but sorry, pal. Even your new strength won't measure up to what I'm really capable of." "Oh?" Piccolo asks. But even then, despite all of this, the action elsewhere now continues, because as soon as Ultimate Gohan was shown having to attack Gamma 2 and ruthlessly being shown knocking him away, Gohan by no means was willing to let up on this overall situation and punishing Gamma 1 and having to also notice something very strange go down with them, which is also similar to that of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, as Gohan gradually began to notice that the Gammas really weren't that evil to begin with. So even then, as Gohan was waiting to see what Gamma 1's next move was going to be, was when from out of nowhere, that was when Gamma 2 had teleported behind Gohan and nearly catching him off guard by striking him with the double axe handle, as Gohan then went on to respond, "Oh, don't you just ever give up?" with Gamma 1 responding, "As an android, I operate at full power until my energy is drained. Yeah, well, how much energy do you have left? Gohan asks. Well, if you must know, I am at 82%. Oh, that's not good, Gohan says. In which, in the meantime, as we only then circle back on over and witnessing Piccolo versus Gamma 2 take place, was when Gamma 2 was now beginning to edge out Piccolo ever more so by kicking him through one of the nearby buildings, with even Piccolo himself now beginning to understand that by no means were either of these Gammas going to be easy to take down. So, instead of having to wait and see what Gamma 2 was going to do next, what Piccolo ended up doing to follow up on this was he immediately had gone as far as to do what he did in the movie, and that's use all of the rubble and debris that was surrounding him, and from there being shown having to directly throw it at Gamma 2, with Gamma 2 using his pistol as a means of destroying all of the rocks that were being shown thrown on him, as a gigantic explosion was now shown having to take place right in front of him. Little did Gamma 2 know that Piccolo had only now used this as a means of a distraction in getting behind Gamma 2 and kicking him back down onto the ground, but instead of being shown having to hit the ground below like he was shown having to do so earlier, what Gamma 2 ends up doing instinctively instead is use his guns as a means of deploying it and launching himself back up in the air, and from that very point on, even going as far as to shock Piccolo by kicking Piccolo square in the face, as even Gohan had now gone as far as to notice this, because even now, despite with the fact of Ultimate Gohan being in the lead against Gamma 1, it didn't seem as though Piccolo was going to have any sort of significant advantage against Gamma 2 until that was when Gohan had decided to knock Gamma 1 away, and from that point then being shown swooping on over to save Piccolo, because it was only upon with Gohan now being shown bringing Piccolo back down and asking him about his status was when they both noticed that the Gammas were ready to re-engage with them, as Piccolo from that point then went on to respond, "Listen, Gohan, we're up against Android, so dragging this out won't do us any good." "Right," Gohan responds. "We've gotta finish this in one go. Got it?" "Got it," Gohan responds. In which seconds later, within that moment, as Gohan and Piccolo were now shown having to pair off and going right back after the Gammas, this was only now beginning to become the moment to which Gohan and Piccolo were beginning to amplify their attacks even more so, because in a spectacular-like fashion, as soon as Gohan and Piccolo were now shown making contact by striking Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 at the same time, was when a gigantic burst of light had then forced Dr. Hedo, Carmine, and Magenta to shield their eyes from, because the overall fight itself was now beginning to become even more so aggressive than how it was before, because with Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 being shown separated across the entire field with Gohan and Piccolo shown back in hot pursuit, it didn't really appear as though either of the Gammas were going to be shown having any sort of significant advantage over Gohan and Piccolo until Gohan was the first being shown having to swoop on down, with Gamma 1 trying to do his best in using his gun to shoot multiple blasts at Gohan, only for Gohan to be shown deflecting and knocking away each and every single one of Gamma 1's shots, only to from within that very moment have Gohan headbutt Gamma 2 so far back that Gohan was shown having to have the advantage in his fight, but with Gohan going right back after Gamma 1 as Piccolo was shown struggling against Gamma 2, it was only just when Gamma 2 had looked up and noticing how Gamma 1 was in trouble, where Gamma 2 was now being forced and using more of his power by from that point then being shown kicking Piccolo square in his chest even while having to remain on the ground. This was when Gamma 2 was able to create separation, and from there being shown firing his gun directly at Piccolo before having to target Gohan, because as soon as Gamma 2 had now let off multiple shots at Gohan, with Gohan being shown having to dodge each and every single one of them, to an unsuspecting Gamma 2 from behind him, we only from there see how Piccolo had managed to lift up a giant block above his head, and only from that point attempting to slam it on down, with Gamma 2 barely being shown having to avoid it and rendezvousing with Gamma 1, to which with both Gammas now beginning to understand and analyze the situation and knowing that this isn't going to be easy, was when Gamma 2 went on to respond, "Now let's take them out at one time. Who's up, Piccolo or Son Gohan?" "Say, Gamma 2, are they really a part of that wicked cabal?" Gamma 1 went on to ask. "Oh, duh, of course they are. You heard Dr. Hedo, right?" "Yes, well, he did say that," with Piccolo then having to ask, "Hey, still got some fight in you, Gohan? Oh, this guy is like a brick wall. I haven't had any luck in taking him down." "Yeah, well, I'm not faring much better, so we're in trouble if this goes on much longer," Piccolo says, but then it was only just now during the middle of their conversation, as soon as Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 were shown being on the move, where they had instead now gone as far as to target Piccolo, with Piccolo then having to shout, "Oh, they're coming for me! Oh no!" Gohan shouts, which as indeed this was the plan, because as soon as Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 were shown double teaming Piccolo and kicking him away, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 kept on driving Piccolo's body further and further down into the canyons, as Gohan was trying to do his best in catching up by following them, to which eventually enough as Gohan did, and now being shown grabbing onto Gamma 1 in a headlock, that's when Gohan went on to shout, "Oh, quit it!" In which within that very moment, as Gamma 2 had gone as far as to now turn around and seeing Gohan lift up and carry Gamma 1 out of the crater beneath them, was when Piccolo was shown having to grab onto Gamma 2 and having to also exit through the other side, and not only going as far as to create even more separation by keeping both Gammas away, but it was only just when Gamma 2 had gone as far as to notice what Piccolo was about to do was when Piccolo went on to respond, "It's a shame. You don't seem like you're actually bad, just someone following idiotic orders." So this ends now, as with Piccolo now being shown firing off the Makanko Sampo, aka the special beam cannon, directly at Gamma 2. What was really cool about this was actually being able to see Gamma 2 create somewhat of a barrier to protect himself during the moment of this actually making contact, to which seconds later, the moment Dr. Hedo had noticed that the shield actually worked as far as to protect Gamma 2, that was when Dr. Hedo went on to shout, "All good, Gamma 2! Oh, let's just get this over with," Magenta went on to chime in. "Do you know how much time and dough went into making those buckets of bolts? Oh, so you're really starting to see the big picture, right?" Piccolo went on to ask. "Oh, just shut up! No, it can't be!" Gamma went on to then shout, "No way!" To which upon Gamma 2 now being shown quickly taking initiative in knocking Piccolo back down onto the ground, this was only now shaping out to be the beginning of the punishment that Gamma 2 had in store for Piccolo, because before Piccolo's body could be shown hitting the ground, that was when Gamma 2 had gone as far as to swoop on in and grabbing onto Piccolo's ankle, and quickly being shown following suit and throwing Piccolo completely through one of the other remaining buildings, as Gamma 2 was shown having to appear on the other side, with Gamma 2 quickly being shown ricocheting Piccolo's body up in the air before having to double axe handle him back down onto the ground. This had only now become the exact moment similar to that of the film where Ultimate Piccolo was simply no match for Gamma 2, because even then, despite the significant disadvantage that Piccolo had in not having enough power in competing while using this new form of his, as soon as Piccolo was shown having to drift down deeper and deeper into the darkness was when a voice then went on to echo, "I threw in a bit extra," which of course this voice happened to have come from none other than Shenron. It was only just as Piccolo was beginning to descend deeper down into the darkness where Piccolo began to reawaken, with a gigantic symbol now appearing on his back, as followed by a gigantic explosion emerging from the depths below. This had now only become one of the most important moments within this battle involving Gohan and Piccolo versus Gamma 1 and 2, because even with Gohan and Gamma 1 being shown having to momentarily cease their battle as Gamma 2 looked on in absolute shock, it was only seconds after, similar to that in which was shown during the event of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, where Toyotaro was able to fully capture the magic that was of Orange Piccolo, as Orange Piccolo was now shown emerging from the depths below, to which as soon as Orange Piccolo was now looking like he was ready for war, it was only right then and there now during that moment where Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 95 then comes to a close. Now, you can make no mistake about the fact that we're now nearing the end of this story, as there's just about maybe 3 to 4 chapters of this arc left before we start getting into anything new later on, to which I will go as far as to say that I am enjoying the battles involving Ultimate Gohan versus Gamma 1 and Piccolo versus Gamma 2 a lot more than what was shown go down within the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, but I do genuinely believe that this entire story from the movie should have never have been adapted through the form of having its own arc to begin with, but I am more so curious than anything else to see how the fight between Cell Max and Beast Gohan is going to go down, because I'm only expecting to see a bit more actually happen instead of just seeing Gohan one-shot Cell Max to begin with. So, but I would like to go on ahead and get your thoughts on how you guys feel down in the comment section below, beginning with question number 1, which is, on a rating scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being absolute trash and with 5 being phenomenal, what would you guys rank Dragon Ball Super Manga chapter number 95 on a scale of 1 to 5? Question number 2 is, at what point do you guys believe this entire arc is going to come to a close? Because I'm only going to take a guess and say maybe around October/November, but what do you think? Let me know down below. And lastly, question number 3 is, thus far, do you guys prefer the events that have taken place within the movie, or are the events that are being retold within the manga actually capturing your attention more than the film? Again, I want to go on ahead and get your thoughts on how you guys feel down in the comment section below. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all so very much for your time. To which, once again, if you also just so happen to be new to this channel and of course love Dragon Ball and anime, then I do encourage for all of you guys to head on over and smash that subscribe button, on top of enabling all notifications by clicking on the bell icon, so that way you guys can always be updated and alert whenever a brand new video is posted onto the channel, on top of making sure to give this video a big fat thumbs up right now by smashing that like button down below. Tune back in for more. Thank you all so much once again for being here, and with all that being said, I will be seeing each and every single one of you down in the comment section below and in the next video. Take it easy, everybody, and have a great day. Peace.
Hello. Did you know that you can stay up to date with the latest Dragon Ball content by simply subscribing to UnrealEntGaming?
Also, don't forget to follow on these social media platforms, you sexy son of a bitch.
Roshi.
Silent Cell, me and the fans are having a moment. That's right. I know what you want. Extra long, thick, Dragon Ball content. Quality reviews with flawless editing. Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you? You dirty bitch.
Roshi, the fuck?
God damn it, I need them to subscribe, Cell.
And we're demonetized.
Yeah, screw it. Let's cut to the video.